worst add-on I have ever installed had a 4.2 star review on the marketplace, while the add-ons that literally hundreds of you have been telling me to try have 4.4 and 4.1 stars respectively. This tells me that there is something wrong with either the marketplace review system or with your opinions, and today I'm going to be finding out which it is. I'm going to be checking recommendations from real people and seeing if these free add-ons are as good as people say or not. So welcome to Add-On Review. Today we're going to be checking out Tinker's Construct. This is one of the most famous Minecraft Java mods of all time, and it came to Bedrock recently, and it started kind of buggy, but it's had a couple of updates. We've got World Builder, which Minecraft has been actively advertising to people for a very long time, but it sounds like it does what MC Edit sort of does for free. And then finally we have the Essentials mod. These are three separate add-ons, and I'm going to be seeing if any of them are worth your hard-earned money. Let's jump straight into it with Tinker's Construct. By the way, today, to make a little bit of a difference, I'll be loading up these add-ons in a copy of my creative world instead of my survival world, just because it's been a while since I've been around here, and I figured it could be a decent fit. But yeah, just keep in mind it's a very, very odd world, but it's here to show that you can in fact use these in survival as well as creative, something you might want particularly for Tinker's Construct. So yeah, this is all about the update. It's fun that they tell you all about the changelog inside of it, but let's talk about how this actually works by reading Materials and You, which we can do by triggering through the book. This is the weirdest book I've seen so far, but also not necessarily the worst. I kind of like it. Anyway, greetings and welcome. Thank you for downloading Tinker's Construct. The handbook serves as your guide to tinkers, and you can rely on patterns a lot to make most things work. So if we go through here, we can find out that stencil table... Oh no, not the stencil table. Okay, this is one of the wildest books I've ever read, because midway through the tutorial, they just start switching to talking about Selena, Arcadian, librarian of the Slime Crafter Guild, and leader of the Special Slimic Military Unit. Okay, this sounds... There's a lot going on in this book. Just to scam ahead here, how many pages are there? There's a lot of pages in this. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to try and work out how this first section works, and we're not even going to bother trading with all these villagers who have seemed to show up right now, because they're going to get in the... Wait, where did he just go? So they can despawn in front of you. Something to keep your eyes out for. Okay, so I spent about 15 minutes exploring this add-on, and I've got to say, it is highly technical, but whenever I read a huge page of text, and this is multiple huge pages of text, I'll be honest, my eyes glaze over and I say, what is the point of all this again? So to try and summarize it as quickly as possible for someone who isn't familiar with the world of Tinkers, there are just add-ons to this, which mean that you can craft brand new things. If you want to, you can craft the Traveler's Vest, for example. I'm kind of curious as to if it does anything special. And you can make just brand new types of armor, which look kind of fun by themselves, but then also there is a whole new world of crafting unlocked from these three tables. One of these tables is a stencil table. You can craft together sticks and wood to make yourself a blank pattern, which can then be used to craft a cleaver or a dagger or a wait, is that another dagger? The dagger crossguard or the dagger, or the rod, or the shovel, which is not a typo for a shovel. It is in fact its whole own thing, or the sword, or anything else. Right now, I think I'd like to start with a dagger. That seems nice and easy, so I'll make one of those right here. In fact, I'll make a few of those, as well as, you know, let's go for fun, and let's make a pickaxe just so we can. So now we can make a pickaxe, and we can make a dagger by going to the part builder. This is a different station. You can make them from basically any type of wood. These part builders I can use with bone, or stone, or wood to make any of these types of tools. So I'll make a bone pickaxe, because that sounds kind of fun, and then I'll make a stone dagger, because that seems kind of easy, and then we take these items that we've just now crafted into the Tinker's Station, at which point we can craft them together with a crossguard to make a dagger. So as you can see, that means we need to go in here, we need to find the crossguard, add that to our existing thing. Do you think we can make it out of stone, or we have to make it out of something else? You know, let's try with a bone dagger crossguard, just in case. So we'll go back one more time, make ourselves the dagger crossguard. I never knew that was the official name for it, by the way. Has anyone else ever heard of the dagger crossguard? Anyway, now we can use these and combine them together to make either a stone dagger or a bone dagger. The stone crossguard can be used for either of these, but the bone dagger has 190 durability and 2 attack damage, while the stone dagger has 238 durability and also 2 attack damage. Why would I want the bone one then? Whatever. It's got undead bonuses, it sounds like. Yeah, so when we deal damage against undead mobs, it will be better with this dagger, which does 2 damage. There is no way that is a good deal, right? Let me kill a panda just to prove how terrible of an idea that is. Oh, actually, that seemed pretty good. Let's see the extra damage against undead mobs, though. Oh, God, what is that? What did we just do? Oh, okay, so you can turn any mob that you're fighting into a skeleton. I don't know that that is a plus. if I'm being honest with you, if I was to give my... If there's a zombie there, I would much rather fight him with my fist than do this and have him turn into one of those. But maybe that's just me being crazy. Maybe I'm the one who gets this wrong. All I know is that things are looking pretty bad from over here. And I don't think a bone dagger is really going to help me too much. So, pro tip, don't. Okay, I'm going to be honest with you. This add-on has no faults when it comes to ambition. It is trying to do a lot more than most add-ons are, which just add one feature and call it a day. But it has so much going on. Some complexity, just like this when you look at an item. But also, there is lots of weird questions like, okay, if I want to craft a cleaver, how do I do that? Well, I've got my cleaver blade right here, and I've got my cleaver guard. Why does that not combine together? Am I missing some key ingredient here? And the answer is, yeah, of course you're missing some key ingredient. Or like, okay, you need a diamond tool handle to make a bone pickaxe, for example. There are lots of things which are a little bit confusing. And in case you think, well, I mean, all you got to do is read the 4-page, 5-page guide, dummy, or the 5-chapter guide with 12 pages each. Well, actually, there are multiple other books, so you can learn about smelting from this one right here. This is wild to me how much is in there. And ultimately, this is a very, very, very complicated add-on that you can't just go into for as little as half an hour and actually come out with a decent understanding of. But if you want a world of technicality on Bedrock, this really seems to provide it. Even with just under half an hour to my hands inside of this add-on, I still have to say, like, yeah, there's a vast amount of it I don't understand, but if you like the idea of having infinite customization to your tools, something I've said forever is I'd like more potion customization, but if you think that way about tools, this seems to give it to you. Do you want add-ons for your cleaver, like Killager or Smeltery, or do you want a floaty dagger? What does a floaty dagger even mean? I honestly don't know that I could tell you in a meaningful way. If you want a much more complex tool system, this is an add-on for you. If you want to have a much more complex smelting system, this is an add-on for you. It currently is a little lacking on the high end. The very, very best things you can get are good, but they're not like so vastly amazing when compared to the amount of effort that goes into them. But if you look at a technical add-on, not as being worthwhile just on that level, but as being something much, much more, and indeed being the reason to play Minecraft, this one's pretty good. Otherwise, I would have to say, I don't quite understand the hype, but I just don't think this is my type of Minecraft style. I don't think this is the way I would like to play the game, or maybe you have to start this on a new world and see it like that. But I personally am just not getting it, and I'll use my wooden shovel instead and just enjoy. Because here's a fun thing, the tools don't have durability, instead they have health in this add-on, something you've got to keep in mind, otherwise things will go badly. Oh, no! So here's something fun, it told me that I have 1 durability left, which I can now waste and say goodbye to. Anyway, yeah, fairly cool add-on, so much content, but there's a worry of a little bit to me of, quantity over quality on this one. But that is actually a good thing because it means you get to pick what quality you're looking for. But it means there's a lot of questionable things to go through in the meantime. Speaking of questionable things, let's move into the second add-on today. So before I move into the second add-on, I want to point out something fun which exists in Minecraft, which is when you have an add-on which has certain blocks enabled and then you disable them, those blocks will change into dirt blocks with a question mark on them, which I think is real fun. Speaking of real fun, this is the World Builder add-on. This is one which has been featured on the marketplace for a very long time, but how good actually is it? Well, let's read about it and then explain to you how it is. Oh. That wasn't a read, that was a... I like that. I was expecting a chapter from a book, but instead they're just like, here are the tools. It fills your hotbar, isn't that cool? You can use these to do things like copy. I guess we gotta select first. So this toolbar is filled with tools which will allow me to do things like copy this entire house, if I do this correctly. I'm not sure that I will be able to, but we'll copy the entire house, at least the bottom of it, and so we'll hit copy. Okay, copied 450 blocks, and then we'll select a new area over here, let's say, and let's paste it over there. Did I do that correctly? It doesn't look like I'm doing it. Oh god, I'm doing it over there. Oh no, okay. Okay. As you can see, I have just made something beautiful. Probably, sort of, not really. Okay, I was pasting without realizing it. Okay, so after reading a little bit more, it turns out the undo tool really is as powerful as it sounds because I can go ahead and undo all of that which is crazy because it puts back all of the blocks that were previously there. I am really impressed with this, admittedly. Someone who is understanding of add-ons is kind of from the outside in. The fact that it has enough memory to know exactly what used to be there before is actually wildly impressive to me. So, yeah, obviously this add-on is one that you'll be using mostly in creative. Also, how is it deciding where to place this block? I feel like there's got to be something to it, but I have no idea how. Is it like based on my distance to it, maybe? Yeah, it's going to be something like that. Anyway, so yeah, looking around, this actually seems like a very, very, very powerful add-on, as powerful as ones that you can download from outside the marketplace. That shouldn't be as impressive, but it actually is, because to be on the marketplace, you can't use any experimental toggles. You have to use just the latest version that is stable of Minecraft, and it means that it'll be really impressive if we can do something like I'm about to. So something fun you can actually do is you can set your own gradient that you want to use. We'll call this Blocky 1. Nice easy name for it. And we're going to select a row of blocks, my gradient, which I'll just select as my pickaxe up here for as high as we can. So first position, that seems good to me. It's a very small number of blocks. Should we use some more, actually? Yeah, let's make sure there's multiple other blocks in there. So there, let's say, down to over there. That, I don't know what that's going to do, but we'll use those as my transition blocks. Hopefully that's 3 separate blocks and not a bunch of air. But now I can use Blocky 1, and I can presumably place this wherever in the world I want. So let's say that I want to make this house right here into that new gradient. I don't think I should want to do this, but you better believe I do anyway. Okay, so I think I get it. I'm meant to use the block picker now uncrouched. And then, no, that's adding blocks to my pattern. Okay, I've got to tell it very specifically that I'm trying to use this gradient. So use gradient, let's go. No, it's just adding blocks to my pattern. I have no idea what it is I am doing incorrectly here. But I am doing it very incorrectly. Okay, I think it was me being in survival that caused some issues to happen, so we're going to try this again. Selection fill, go! Ah, it did it! So it's made a beautiful gradient of the blocks I chose between, which as you can see is mostly just a few of the same blocks. Honestly, bad example of gradient, but also kind of fun, right? So let's use a real gradient now. Let's go with the block picker, and let's pick one which actually looks legit. Where have I used the real gradient in this world? I would say this is probably the best example. It's not a gradient, but it's a few different choices of blocks. So let's select over here. Let's go with gradients, create new gradient, and we'll call this one Grad 2. So, a lot of people like these towers. They're one of the very few things in my creative world that I've actually had compliments on. Gotta say, you know what, why aren't there enough compliments in the world? But that means that we can now save this as a gradient, and now I can use that gradient. We're gonna select that as particularly used, and we're gonna place it as a brand new building. This building's gonna be huge. I don't know how huge I'm thinking, but let's say all the way from here, up and over replacing the other side of this blast furnace I never made. So let's go ahead and let's selection fill it. Okay, it's doing something in a weird way. Oh, along the floor only. Interesting. So this is my gradient. As you can see, we start very... You know, I feel like you have to actually make a real gradient for this feature to make any sense. But it is at least somewhat randomly selecting blocks, which is kind of beautiful by itself. I think what might be a better feature of what I'm looking for is this mask picker. So I'm going to have it add blocks. I'm going to add all 3 of these to it. And then I'm going to try the exact same thing, but with the mask being done instead. And now it will do that, maybe. Or maybe it won't. It says it's calculating a shape, but it's only doing the ground floor. So we'll try it maybe in a slightly different area and see if we can change how it is perceiving what we're going to do. So let's try that there. Let's selection fill it. And now nothing's happening. So yeah, there's a little bit of confusion, at least on my end, about how this is working. Now set blocks to mask. Okay. So now we can fill this. No, we can't, because it's not got any depth to it. So we have to break a block down, at least a little bit over here. Okay, there we go. Let's fill this in. Ah, it's actually working now. So it's using the 3 blocks in a random order to fill in the space that I just said. Which means that now we have this monstrosity made up of the blocks inside of my tower. Very, very interesting way for this to all come about. It's got some air in there, though, because I also added... Oh, no, it's not air, it's just glass. This is a monstrosity. Don't get me wrong, but it's cool that you can make these sorts of more complex... It's not just copy and paste and move stuff around like that. It's also the ability to make gradient patterns So let's try now to make a slightly interesting one, in my opinion. Let's use this block. We're going to clear the entire pattern so far. So, clear mask. Yes, I want to clear the mask. Wait. Yes, I want to clear the mask. And then I'm going to start adding blocks to my mask. I'm going to say this block, and the chest as well, because why not? And then maybe some blue wool, and some light grey wool, and then some green terracotta too. And then we're going to do something really, really mad, and we're going to see the limits of just how much we can really place at once. This is a huge amount of space, but we can go even bigger. You know what? Let's go all the way over there. So that is now 40,800 blocks, more than Minecraft will place by itself. And it won't let me do it because it will be unmodifying unloaded chunks. There we go. Okay, it's doing it now. Will this actually work, though? That is the question. Okay, it failed to save history point. I was so impressed. I was just about to give World Editor the real praise there, that it can do more than Minecraft Bedrock is able to by default. But I think... Oh, no, 0 blocks have changed. Well, I mean, it tried. It tried. Okay, so it goes without saying that this is a very weird add-on, and it's one that is very, very much aimed at creative builders. There's no one in survival using this, because it's just less powerful, or rather, it doesn't make any sense. By comparison to some things, but I think that immediately for some people, the ability to copy and paste, even if you have to be within certain chunks to do it, is one that is very, very powerful. To be able to take my giant horsolotl and be like, I'll just place it over there, actually very, very cool. This is something we all want to do, let's be honest, but even more powerful than that is the ability to, say, place paintbrushes. This is something which you can do very easily. I'll make a custom size 12 paintbrush, and just like you can using the editor tool, wait, confirm, mask picker. Oh, you gotta pick a specific block for this. Okay, so I'm gonna make this finally be my dream. I'm gonna pick this block, and then this block over here, and then we're gonna make a pattern out of that, call it da-da-da-da-da, and then pick up da-da-da-da-da, give item. Gonna make sure I use it now, so I have no idea how this is going to go. But let's see. Oh, look at that. See, these sorts of features alone do make it really worthwhile just for creative endeavors that previously you couldn't have imagined. Building something like this by hand is unimaginably hard. And so to be able to make something that looks so delicately crafted with a single brush of a single click of a mouse or a single use of a controller is something that is wild beyond all comprehension. You can do some really, really, really silly, powerful things of this, and yeah, I feel like I'm just scraping the surface, but I really want to start using this to make some big stuff. In my opinion, this is the creative version of Tinker's Construct, i.e. I'm saying it does so much for you if you're willing to learn the tool, in the same way that it took me most of a stream to learn all of the crazy things that you could do with Amulet. You can learn so many different things that you can do inside of this. So here's a tool that will allow me to stack things up vertically, for example. Range 64, why not? But and then we're going to select a mask made out of these blocks right here, because why not, right? But yeah, the fact that you can have okay, so the fact that you can play around with so much and use this for creative building means this is a no-brainer if you're looking to take things to the next level. What did it actually just say the stacker did? It will take any block you interact with and make a column in the direction you're facing. So this block, I'm interacting with it, but it's not making a column in the direction I'm facing. You know, I'm starting to think it's not really doing a good job at what it's trying to do. But anyway, the point here is to say that there are so many tools, there's a lot to learn, and you can see that this is actually an add-on with real legs, and that will allow people to make bigger things than before. However, just like the Tinker's Construct add-on, which is a very powerful survival add-on, it does what a Java mod does, and then a little bit worse, except with this one it's a tiny bit more egregious, because there already is a Bedrock version of this. MC Edit, but for Bedrock. He's made by Silicon, I believe. Very, very, very long-term member of the Minecraft Bedrock community. It's available freely everywhere, and so I can only wholeheartedly recommend this to console players who don't have access to it anywhere else, because otherwise, just download World Edit. It's so easy. It does basically the same stuff, but without that stinging price in the wallet. And I feel a bit bad about that. Like, I know the people, again, congratulations to the people who made this, and I really am glad that you brought it to the marketplace, but I also think that you would also, I hope that the team behind it would agree, yeah, this is mostly bringing it to people on phones or on consoles who otherwise aren't going to interact with it. And if so, yeah, this is great. I love what's going on with this, and the possibilities for my creative world seem endless. Honestly, I guess at this point, the most exciting thing I'll be doing with it is things you shouldn't build for Minecraft 1.21. But yeah, I just gotta... By the way, it is a real pain if you ever undownload add-ons or if your Minecraft just decides you don't have access to the marketplace. Something that does happen sometimes. Randomly, you'll lose connection to your skins or whatever. This also happens to add-ons, and so you either have to deactivate them or not play your world until it's done. Very, very bizarre thing. But this is Essentials, and let's give it a shot. Immediately have to say, by the way, that this is the cheapest add-on we'll be reviewing today. The other ones are both close to $5. This one is just $2 United States dollars, or £1.69 if you live in the greatest kingdom, the greatest Britain, the Unitedest Kingdom. If you live in a place where the GBP is the currency, then it's just $1.69. If you live in the other 99% of the planet, then it's not. But in either case, you'll get this set of add-ons, which are all bundled in together. This, to me, feels wonderful. A lot of add-ons will add a single function of this and say, yeah, that sounds like that should be worth about $3 by itself. But this add-on has a lot that all bundle in for $2. But is any of this actually any good? So if you have crops in your inventory, Essentials will automatically replant a crop when you break it. That's cool. Ore Breaker. Whenever you mine a single ore block, Essentials will automatically mine nearby ones as well. That's awesome. Tree Breaker. Whenever you chop a single log, Essentials will chop down the tree 7 blocks down and 3 blocks up. Okay, so let's go and try out all of these at one time, shall we? By the way, I just want to point out that this add-on was not actually recommended by viewers, but instead by Echo. He is a friend of mine from the console days, and he's one of the only other people from that era to transition over to Bedrock, and he also likes to play around with add-ons, and he says this is the best one so far, if his video titles as we believe, and I am very, very curious about that. And so let's start with the mining helmet. This is a very, very curious start, because it means that when it is dark, you can still see, because light will come from around you. This is one of the goofiest and maybe jankiest parts of the add-ons, but it does work entirely fine. Also built into the add-on is the ability to break ores like it is a vein all at once, just like so. It's got a really fun animation that comes with it, but it can be turned off. That's something I think is really, really handy. Lots of these things can be turned specifically on and off in the settings, so we could turn off the ore breaker if we didn't like it, but what we could also do is turn on the chunk border setting. This is something I was just looking for recently because I wanted to, I went for a lot of effort to make a one chunk series. I could have just turned this on for it apparently, but yeah, that's something you might not know. Also, something you might not know is the fact that there is a checkpoint ability. This will allow me to teleport back to my old area. Oh, I was trying to, as you can see, the checkpoint allows you to teleport back to where your checkpoint was. I seem to have messed things up by accidentally enabling it in the wrong place. But yeah, having this chunk border thing is very, very useful, mostly because of the fact that it's going to allow me to always know where chunk boundaries are, which is useful for planning out builds and all sorts of stuff like that. Again, it's an essential thing. It's very, very handy to have. Speaking of things that are handy to have, let's go ahead and let's craft ourselves some crafting tables, because here's a type of crafting table you probably didn't know existed. So if we make a ton of these, which I obviously I love to do, you can actually combine 4 crafting tables together to make one of these, a portable crafting table. All crafting tables are portable though, so this one is just automatically so I could use it to say craft some slabs. That's what slabs look like. Or I could move the slabs just a little more vertically than you're probably used to, and we could do that to make the vertical slab. Vertical slabs do exist, so as well as having stone stairs and stone slabs, lots of blocks that have slabs also have sideways slabs, which means you can finally do this if you want to. You can make this look like a real monstrosity if you feel like it, so let's do precisely that, in fact. There we go. Look how great this is. Isn't this the dream that you've wanted from Minecraft? But more seriously, sideways slabs are something everyone says they need, so they just went ahead and added it, something I think is beautiful. Anyway, so what you can also do is this exact same logic works with a furnace. Here is a portable furnace, and so when this gets moved around, I believe anytime I want to place it, it will just move from its last position. Could be wrong about that, though. Yeah, look at that. I can't be underwater, but still, we can just magically place this anywhere in the world. We can do the same thing with our portable furnace. Whenever you need a furnace, it will be there for you. This is so well designed sound-wise, and I think the fact that this is charging just $2 really shows the value of what you've seen already so far, but there's more. Have you ever wanted to break down a tree in a single block? Well, woo, you can do precisely that. Isn't that incredible? This has existed in previous add-ons, but this is a particularly good example of it. It does have one issue of not being able to deal with non-vertical trees, but it's pretty decent. Also, there is the ore scanner. This can be made with, as you can see, it's a walkie-talkie made of mystical cucumbers, eye offenders, and copper. And if we use these blocks together, we'll be able to look for any ore we're looking for. So it will tell me where those things are. Is it in this direction? Maybe it won't tell me. Honestly, I could not tell you how this works just by looking at it. So the way that this works is we will be able to scan and it will show the number of ores up to a 7-block distance. That doesn't feel like it's very high. I don't think there's any copper around here. And I don't know how I would know for sure that there is or isn't. Okay, there we go. That is definitely coal. Can the game detect it? It looks like the answer is no. I'm very confused by this. But, yep, this is a new thing too. Also inside of the essentials, we have, obviously, the ability to repair anvils. You can use a single iron ingot to do so. We have fake blocks, which is one of the weirdest parts of this. I don't know who this is for, but if it's you, please let me know in the comments. But the reason I had fake in my search previously is because you can type that in, and you can make fake versions of blocks you know and love. So what makes a block fake? Well, a real block is one you can interact with, and I like to believe that this is a dig at the marketplace teams that make 1,000 new blocks, but they're not real blocks. These are blocks that you can stand inside because they're entities and not blocks. They can be broken with your fist, and it makes... I have so many questions about this. You can breathe while inside of them. And as you can see, it's very, very, very strange to me, but maybe this is the perfect thing you've been asking for. Finally, there is the death waypoints. It will let you know exactly where you died, and so one of the handiest things that people want when they're playing survival is this ability to know where their death point is to come back to it. Gravestones is by far the most popular free add-on, and it's so easy to recommend to basically anyone, so it's cool that this can correspond to that. I would say, though, the chunk boundaries make this already pretty darn nice. The sideways slabs are the sort of thing that I don't personally want, but I know lots of people do. But I love that if you were going to be playing a survival with add-ons, all of these feel correctly balanced. A portable furnace feels OP, but it costs 4 furnaces. And there we go, we've just... we managed to place it on top of the other furnace, interestingly. Can we keep doing that forever? Wait, let's try. Okay, so I'm going to place another furnace on top of this one. Can I do it? No, I can't. It's too hard. Maybe if we use a portable furnace and a crafting table. That's a regular one, not a portable one. Let's see if we can just stack ourselves up into the sky. That might not be balanced, to be fair. Okay, so that goes there. And then from a distance, yeah, that's the floor. Because of the fact that you can interact with them, you can't actually correctly stack up and down, so... You can do this if you want to. I feel like this is a really nicely balanced add-on, though. I think the mining helmet is the closest thing to OP, you can argue. It's the closest thing to broken, too. I don't have particular fondness for it. I think the ore scanner is very, very, very reasonable, even if it doesn't work in my experience. But I really love the portable crafting table. I really love the portable furnace. I really love the instant break for trees, and I like the instant break for mining, and the other nice little utility functions in here. And more importantly, I like that it's priced reasonably. They didn't say, how high can we price this and get away with it? They said, yeah, what do we think this is worth? And I think they went fairly conservative on it when compared to other things out there. And so if you're looking for an add-on for survival, I would honestly say you don't need one, but this is probably the one I would recommend more than any other, because it's just got the stuff that is nice to have, that people really enjoy in a Minecraft world, and what's not to love about that? The answer is there's nothing not to love about that, and that's why you should become a miner too. You might already be a miner, in which case, I don't know, go take a credit card from your parents and use it to buy the Essentials add-on, which is one of my favorite survival add-ons, but that is the key bit here to kind of answer the big question we asked at the start of this video. Should you trust the reviews? Should you trust the wisdom of the crowd? Or should you trust people closer to home who are recommending something to you? And the second group is always going to be a little closer because of the fact that today's video has shown 3 very different add-ons. One is a massive overhaul of survival, adding like close to 1,000 unique items. One of these is a giant overhaul to creative, and one of these is a fairly small set of tweaks to survival. All 3 of these add-ons aren't really competing with each other, but on the marketplace it seems like they are. So if you look at the reviews of them side by side, you might assume that one is better than the others, but really it's about appeal. I think that the World Builder add-on is great for creative. There are times where I really would love the functions that come with it, and even though I think that it's done by something that already exists, like I said, if you are buying an add-on, it is the best at what it does from the ones that are paid on the store store right now. And so I would say that the thing that has to be noted between Tinker's Foundry and the Essentials add-on is, what do you want to change in your survival experience? Do you think Minecraft is a great game already that just a few tweaks could make a lot better? Or do you think that Minecraft is a good base that needs a ton of things added to it? If so, you might prefer things like Plains or like Tinker's Foundry, but that is where I think the divide comes from, and that is why I make these reviews. I did obviously only spend about half an hour of each of these. I think if you spent hours and hours and hours, you'd start to pick apart some other like strengths and weaknesses of these, but I think that with the time I've seen from these, you can hopefully see from my perspective of someone who mostly plays survival and likes the base game of Minecraft, what I really think of these, and I hope you found it to be interesting. But to finally answer the question, I think that you can trust people who know you better than you can trust the wisdom of the crowds, because I think a lot of people will review the World Builder add-on poorly if they're survival players and have zero use for it. I think that if you are playing creative, or if you're playing regular Minecraft, like, it really is a weird niche late game position you have to be in where you really enjoy Tinker's Foundry. It is the best add-on for what it does, but it does something quite narrow, and the same is true for the Survival Essentials. I think this does some really nice niche things that I really appreciate, but are they things that everyone will appreciate all of the time, enough to want to leave on? Well, that's something you have to decide for yourself. For now, just know it has sideways slabs, and I think a lot of people will pay for that by itself. But what I also think is that I hope you've all enjoyed today's video. I hope you found it to be useful. This is my add-on series, and I hope that you find it to be a good buyer's guide, because ultimately that's all I ever want from the marketplace. It doesn't do a great enough job, and so these videos have to exist instead, but I hope you enjoy it, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Have a nice day, and goodbye.